Hey everyone, this is Saul from Three Kingdoms Games. Now what I want to talk to you today is about Magic the Gathering. Now I started playing Magic in 1999. So as of September of next year, that's going to be 20 years I've been playing Magic. And in that time, I've played lots of different decks. I've seen lots of things. You know, the creation of the different Magic formats, because when I started there really wasn't tournament structure the same way as it is now. You know, and then it went through the Vintage, Type 1, which is now Legacy, Type 2, which is Standard, Expanded got thrown in there in the middle. No one really plays Expanded. Expanded is, you know, was 4 blocks with a rotation. I don't know why it didn't take off better, but, you know, who knows. About 8 years ago, they introduced a new format getting rid of Expanded, which was Modern. Now, back when they introduced Modern, a lot of people were maybe in denial is the best way of putting it. They didn't think it would take off as well as it did. Now, it has. It is probably the premier format for Pro Series, most commonly played format for Magic. That being said, it is probably one of the healthiest formats if you're looking at just card pool and variety and what you can do with it. Like if you go to a lot of locals, you'll see weird random fringe decks, which is great. That's what Magic is about for me, you know, building these decks, getting to play these different decks. Unfortunately, when you look at the Pro Tour for Modern, you see about 15 to 20 different decks, and that's about it. Now, that I think is ridiculous when you consider there's over 9,000 legal cards in Modern. Now, let's ignore lands, let's ignore unplayable cards, which every single set has a ton of unplayable cards. Let's say even 3,000 of those cards are playable. Given that you're going to be running 3 to 4 copies of each of these cards, and the average deck has 23 lands, that means you only have 37 cards to put into your deck. With those numbers of 3 to 4 of each of those, that's a ton of different combinations. How is the Pro Tour only using 15 to 20 different decks? To some degree, I think it's people get, I don't want to say lazy, but that's kind of what it is. You know, you saw someone else do a deck that you kind of liked how it looked. You know, it's kind of similar to a deck you like to play. But you don't want to go through the playtesting steps. You don't want to go through the concept steps. You don't want to go through all the steps that are required to build a deck. Now, I love those steps. I love playing fringe decks. I love playing my own homebrews. And I don't care if I lose or not. It's a game. You know, winning, losing, it's part of a game. If my deck wins 1 of every 4 games, I'm still kind of happy about it because I'll still be playing a unique deck that's different than anyone else. And usually that means people aren't sideboarded for me. Now, you look at Pro Tour, and I find it personally kind of boring. I know that's probably not a popular opinion. You know, these guys are skilled. I'm not going to knock them on that. They are skilled players of Magic. But when you and everyone else are playing the same decks all the goddamn time, and I'm just seeing the same matchup after the same matchup after the same matchup, kind of gets repetitive. And when you watch 3 to 4 Pro Tours in a row, yeah, not exactly the most entertaining Magic to watch. Let alone, let's ignore the controversy about the, you know, how some people put it, that all Pro Tour Magic players are cheaters. If you're cheating in Pro Tour, okay, you're cheating at a game. Good for you. I know there's lots of money involved. You're still cheating. Some of you have been called out by Wizards. The fact that some of you are trying to pull off cheats on camera is insane to me. If you think you can get away with this, good on you. Maybe quit playing Magic and go do the other kind of Magic because that's what you're trying to do. So, Modern as a whole, when you consider all the card numbers I threw at you already, is actually a really healthy format. Pro Tour is not so healthy as, you know, I just demonstrated with those few numbers. I think it's a better format for people to get into overall. Yes, it has a higher bar to enter than standard. So if you're a brand new player, maybe start with standard. The average deck in standard nowadays costs about $200 USD to $300 USD, which means you're looking at $300 to $400 Canadian. Average modern deck, though, is about $800 USD for competitive level modern decks. That being said, with that giant card pool, you can build like a $50 modern deck if you really want to. So, those are my thoughts on currently modern and standard. If you want to get into one of those, you can always, do the long form, get into standard. Once your deck rotates out, update it to modern, play through modern. Or just jump headfirst into the crazy pool that is modern, because you'll get to do so much more interesting, weird deck development. Like and subscribe to the channel to keep this content coming. You can follow us on all major social media. That's in the description box down below. I'll see you next time.